everyone. Now, we will discuss Chapter 6, which is the second component of the strategic analysis and is titled Internal Analysis, Resources, Competitive Advantage, and Firm Performance. Before we go into the meat of this chapter, I'd want to lay down some insights regarding this chapter's content. Internal analysis is the process by which an organization looks at its own resources, assets, characteristics, skills, abilities, and competitive advantages. This helps management figure out the strengths and weaknesses of the organization during the decision making, strategy making, and implementation processes. Internal analysis is an excellent method for businesses to enhance their main functions. Let us now proceed to the first subtopic of Chapter 6, which is the internal analysis, looking inside the firm for core competencies. It was stated in the book that this section will explore the analytical tools to explain why differences in firm performance exist even within the same industry. In the book, they used SM Supermarket and Robinson Supermarket as an examples. They compete in the same industry, so they are likely to encounter the same external opportunities and threats, but they vary in results when it comes to internal operations, implying that the cause of the difference in their performance will be found inside the business. Let us now proceed to Figure 6.1, creating a strategic fit to leverage a firm's internal strengths to exploit external opportunities. Figure 6.1 demonstrates the transition from the firm's external to internal environment. Let's begin with the largest part of the circle. We'll look at the PESTLE environment here. PESTLE is an acronym that stands for political, economic, sociocultural, technological, ecological, and legal factors in the global world. Let me provide an example to help us better comprehend the PESTLE environment. Consider specific countries such as the Philippines. What are the country's political connections with other countries? Do we have a political bent? Do we adhere our tax policies? How is the country's economy going in terms of economics? We now have a 6.9% inflation rate. Consequently, are we doing well or not? Is our economy in good shape? What significant social and cultural practices does the nation have in terms of sociocultural? In our culture, is our culture still relevant today? How is the nation doing in terms of technology adoption and development? Is our technology evolving or are we out of date? What is the country's legal landscape like in terms of legal environment? According to Harvard professor Michael E. Porter, industry environment refers to general conditions for the competition that influence all businesses that provide similar products and services. It is now on the third circle. My understanding is that industry analysis is the study of external forces that marketing cannot control but can have a significant impact on the success of a product offering. These forces include the existing competition, the threats posed by new competition, price competitiveness, economic factors, and shifting preferences among customers. Now that we have covered the first two circles, let's move on to the third one, which is where we'll find the strategic groups. A strategic group is the term given to the collection of firms operating inside a certain sector that employs a comparable set of business strategies or models. These strategic groupings are responsible for the provision of services for a certain sector of the industry. Each strategic group has been divided into subgroups according to the operational environment, potential risks, and potential rewards presented by the industry. For example, the restaurant industry can be divided into several strategic groups including fast food and fine dining based on the variables such as preparation time, pricing, and presentation. The number of groups within an industry and their composition depends on the dimensions used to define the groups. Finally, the smallest circle. The inside of the firm. It contains resources, capabilities, core competencies, and firm activities aligned with the strategy. All assets, capacities, organizational processes, firm qualities, information, knowledge, and so on that are held by a business and that allow the firm to think up and execute plans that increase its efficiency and effectiveness are referred to as firm resources. Capabilities are what an organization is able to do. In contrast to resources, which are things that an organization has, to be more explicit, capabilities relate to the company's ability to package, manage, or otherwise utilize resources in a way that gives value added and presumably an edge over rivals. Capabilities may also refer to the firm's overall capacity. Through their activities, businesses are able to add value to their operations by converting inputs into finished products and services. I have said previously that there are two types of resources, tangible and intangible. Anything that possesses physical properties and exists in the physical world is said to be tangible. We are able to experience it via our senses. Intangible, on the other hand, does not have any kind of presence or existence in the physical world. It is not possible to see, touch, or feel it in any way. Tangible is real and has value. Some examples of tangible and intangible resources are shown in the slide. Even if tangible resources exist and has value, a competitive advantage is more likely to spring from intangible resources than from tangible ones.
Competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is more likely to spring from intangible rather than tangible resources. Tangible assets like building computer servers can be bought on the open market by any corners who have the necessary cash. However, a brand name must be built often over a long period of time. Google accomplished its enormous brand valuation fairly quickly due to its ubiquitous internet presence, while the next four companies on the list of the most valued brands, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, IBM, and McDonald's, took much longer. Dinhe sa competitive advantage, kinahanglan mo fokusan ang pagpaboom sa niyong brand name para magkamay dakit competitive advantage. Value chain and activity system. The value chain describes the internal activities a firm engages in when transforming inputs into outputs. Each activity the firm performs along the chain adds incremental value. Raw materials and other inputs are transformed into components that are finally assembled into a finished product or services for the end consumer. The value chain concept can be applied to basically any firm, from those in old line manufacturing industries to those high-tech ones or even service firms. Dinhe kuan siya dinhi makita ang business activities pati proseso sa paghimo product or performing a services. Primary and support activities. The value chain transformation process is composed of a set and distinct activities. The value chain is divided into primary and support activities. The primary activities add value directly as the firm transforms inputs into outputs. So from raw materials through production phases to sales and marketing and finally customer services. Dinhi sa primary activities, dinhi sa sulod ipapakita ang proseso tikang sa raw materials tikadto sa production phases hasta sa customer services. Chain, primary and support activities. So kanina gid-discuss ang activities asya kuno ini ang process pag turns ang raw materials into products and services. Ang activities may duha klase, ang primary activities pati ang support activities. Sa primary activities, din yung papakita ang tikang sa raw materials, sa intermediate goods and components, tapos sa manufacturing na final assembly, to sa pabaligyan na to sa customer services. Ang support activities may research, development, information system, operation management, human resources, finance, accounting, general management. Ang support activities, siya nagsusupport sa kada proseso ngadto sa primary activities. Activities add value indirectly. These activities such as research and development, information system, operations management, human resources, finance, accounting, and general management support each of the primary activities. Value chain perspective are needed to perform the firm's activities. It helps manager to see how competitive advantage flows from the firm system of activities. In the value chain perspective, resources and capabilities are needed to perform the firm's activities. The value chain perspective helps managers to see how competitive advantage flows from the firm's system of activities. Strategic activity system, socially complex. A strategic activity system conceives of a firm as a network of interconnected activities. Strategic activity system are socially complex. While one can easily observe several elements of a strategic activity system, the capabilities necessary to orchestrate and manage the network of activities cannot be so easily observed and therefore are difficult to imitate.
Okay, so part 11, figure 6.3, the value. So first is reinvest on upgrade model. A firm takes what it has as a competitive advantage and puts it back through the resources, core competency, and capabilities to keep upgrading the firm to be better. Resources. Any assets that firm can draw on when formulation and implementing a strategy. Assets that can be drawn on when formulating and implementing a strategy. Example: cash, buildings, machineries, intellectual properties. Core competency, unique strength embedded deep within a firm that are critical to gaining and sustaining competitive advantage. Capabilities, organizational and managerial skills necessary to orchestrate a diverse set of resources and deploy them strategically. They find their expression in company structures, routine, and cultures. Activities, distinct and fine-grained business process that enable firms to add incremental value by transforming inputs into goods and services. Example: order taking, physical delivery, or invoicing customers. Primary activities of a value chain. Where are the support activities of a value chain? Primary, supply chain management, operation, distribution, marketing, and sales, and after-sales service. Support, research and development, information systems, human resources, accounting, finance, firms structures, including process, policies, and procedures. How to protect a competitive advantage. First, better expectation of future resources value or simply lack. Second, casually ambiguity, path dependence, social complexity. Greater expectation for future resources value. Sometimes, better expectations result to lack.
Path dependence describes a process in which the option one faces a current situation are limited by decision made in the past.
Causal ambiguity describe a situation in which the cause and effects of a phenomenon are not readily apparent. Social complexity describes a situation in which different social and business systems interact with one another.